speak with Mr. Clive De Carle, and I have been on and around the internet for a while, and I've actually had some of his supplements, which Clive does not know yet. And I am in love with the work that Clive has done. I am an advocate for stepping away from the mob of health, as everyone here knows, and it's just high time we had Clive on. And so with that, we will bring on Clive and we'll talk about his pedigree and get a little bit of info into his backstory. Welcome to the Cosmic Salon, Clive.
Hello, Niish. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's fantastic to be on your podcast.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. And just before we were recording, you're showing me all your wonderful devices. I just, as someone who loves old things, first of all, old technology, the old real stuff, the Tesla stuff, which you have quite an array of, and then the new stuff, the magic chair. Oh, we're going to get into all this. For people that are new to you and may not know who you are and how you came to be in the position that you are, what is the story behind you? Who are you, Clive?
Well, over the years, I've done a lot of different businesses. I ran a lie detector company. I started, along with others, the biggest contact lens company in the UK. I've done all sorts of things. I've been an organic farmer for 10 years. But 40 years ago, I made a really stupid decision. I went to the doctor and he gave me an antibiotic for something super trivial. And I was just eating badly, that was all at that point. And the antibiotic ended me up in hospital. After a few weeks, I realized that my sight wasn't working properly. And I'd become type 1 diabetic. I'd become rheumatoid. I was full of rheumatoid arthritis. So much so that 40 years ago, I couldn't get out of bed one morning. I was literally stuck there, could not get out of bed, didn't have enough strength left. I was in too much pain. And weeks in hospital, they said, well, there's nothing we can do. We can give you drugs, but your life's going to be short and unpleasant. So I kept on refusing the drugs and saying, look, I know something's wrong. It's not a shortage of pharmaceuticals. That's not my problem. But after about 3 weeks in hospital, reading books, I figured out what I needed to do. So I got wheeled out in a wheelchair, went home, and luckily I had a wife to look after me, and I got better, and all the arthritis went away. You know, I looked like I was 90. If you looked at my joints, it was just horrendous. It was awful. Anyway, so then my dad's best friend got cancer for the second time, and he knew what I'd done, so he copied it, but went further than me. He started taking 35 grams of vitamin C every day in divided doses. 35 grams, that's a lot. And when he died 20 years later, it wasn't from cancer. So I realized that actually, there's something to this health business. And at that point, I sold my contact lens company, and I had the organic farm at that point. So I decided I'd change my life completely and concentrate on health. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So it's been super interesting. And, and every day I learn more stuff,
Before we move on further, I think I'm picking up wind noise.
Yeah, I'm in the garden. I'll go inside and that'll stop. Sorry about that.
Your recovery is remarkable. That story alone, just that. And this was with vitamin C, right?
No, it involved vitamin C. However, the main thing that reverses rheumatoid arthritis is magnesium.
Okay.
So even now, I make my own capsules of magnesium. I've got a brand, and I take 8 capsules a day. Now, most people would say that's an awful lot, but it's not, because magnesium is a very bulky mineral, and I find so I don't get any of the symptoms of magnesium deficiency. And shall I just run through the symptoms, because people might find that interesting?
Magnesium just amazes me.
Well, if people take away just one thing from this, it is magnesium is something that probably everybody in the world, more or less, is deficient in. Pretty much everybody, no matter how well you're eating. And there are many reasons for it. Stress being the big one. In life these days, we're way more stressed than we ought to be in nature. In nature, if the bear is about to eat you, you run, you escape, and you recover. But in modern life, it's like the bear's trying to eat you all day long, particularly if you listen to the news and pay attention to that rubbish.
Yes.
So the body copes with stress by burning your magnesium up. But if you are low on magnesium, you run out, then suddenly you might find yourself being anxious, having a panic attack. You might find your heart racing for no reason. You've suddenly got arrhythmia. You might find you're constipated, not sleeping. You might get muscle aches. You might get arthritis. You might get heart attacks. You might get restless leg, where your leg kicks out at night. You might get muscle cramps when you wake up and stretch. You might get twitches. You might get menstrual cramps. You might get spasms. You might get epilepsy. You might get migraines, headaches. I mean, the list goes on. And most people have got at least one of those things going on. They've got aches and pains.
Yeah.
Well, that's a magnesium deficiency. If you're an athlete and you're sweating, you sweat out the magnesium. If somebody is in the desert, people think, oh, he died because of lack of water. No, he didn't. He died because he sweated out all the magnesium and his heart stopped beating as a result.
Is there an electrical component to it? Is that why it's so powerful?
Well, there's always an electrical component because we are electrical beings, which is why some of these Tesla devices from the last century or 2 centuries ago work so well, because they literally charge the cells up with energy. But we're all depleted of more or less everything because of modern farming. Even if you're eating organic, was the land that before it became organic, had it been poisoned previously? How long is it going to take to recover? 3 years, 5 years, 1,000 years? Don't know. Depends how damaged the soil is. When I was young, there were insects everywhere. Now there's maybe 1,000th of what they used to be, and the young people have no idea. They don't know that most of the birds and the bats and most of the woodland creatures are gone.
This is extremely noticeable over here as well in the States. I remember growing up and going to the countryside, especially to my grandmother's, and it was, the grill of the car, they were all over the windshield. This is so rare. I rarely see any carnage. I live out in a place that is I'm in a small town, and I go to the countryside